A dealer visit for a simple oil change turns into a $1,000 estimate. Flushes, filters, fuel cleaning, a whole list of services you've never heard of, all marked urgent. Here's what nobody tells you. A huge chunk of that list is stuff you don't need, priced 2 or 3 times what it should be, and the people writing it up work on commission. There are a handful of things they know that they're counting on you not knowing. Today, I'm handing you those. And here's the part that should genuinely annoy you. A former dealership advisor admitted that shops recommend transmission flushes as often as every 12,000 miles, when the manufacturer says 60,000 or more. A cabin air filter that costs $14 and takes 4 minutes gets charged out at $65. And a fuel injection service, they'll quote you $174. For often does the same thing a $15 bottle does. None of this is illegal, it's just built on you not having the information to push back. Let's clear up the one thing that ties all 5 of these together first, because it changes how you hear every recommendation. The service advisor and the mechanic are usually paid on commission or flat rate, meaning the more they sell, the more they personally make. That doesn't make them criminals, most are decent people, but it does mean their incentive is volume. Every extra service on that list is money in someone's pocket, whether your Ford needed it or not. Once you understand that, you stop taking the list as a diagnosis and start treating it as a sales pitch you're allowed to question. Now here's how to question it, 5 specific ways. Secret number 1, and this is the one that can save you the most in a single shot, let the manufacturer pay for known problems. Ford, like every automaker, issues technical service bulletins, TSBs, official documents that describe a common problem on a specific model, and the exact fix for it. On top of those, Ford sometimes issues warranty extensions and customer satisfaction programs that quietly extend coverage on parts they already know tend to fail early. The catch? Nobody automatically calls you to tell you. Here's exactly how you check, and it's free. Go to the NHTSA government safety website, or Ford's own owner support site, punch in your VIN, and look at the service bulletins and any warranty extensions listed for your specific truck. If your exact problem matches an open program, Ford may cover the repair for little or nothing. A former service advisor said even they would mention these to customers just because it was the right thing to do, but plenty of shops won't. People pay full price out of pocket every single day for repairs their truck was already covered for, simply because they never looked it up. And here's a crucial distinction inside that first secret, because it changes what's free and what isn't. A recall and a TSB are not the same thing. A recall is for a safety problem. By federal law, Ford must fix it for free for the life of the vehicle with no expiration. A TSB is for a non-safety problem, and Ford is not required to fix that one for free, unless it's covered under warranty or one of those special customer satisfaction programs. So when you look up your VIN, check both. An open recall is always free money. Get it done. A TSB is your ammunition. It proves the problem is known and gives the shop the exact fix, which stops them from charging you for a long, expensive diagnosis of something Ford already documented. Secret number 2, decline the flush. This is the big one, and I want you to hear it clearly because it's the most common expensive upsell out there. Ask almost any qualified mechanic and they will tell you not to do a transmission fluid flush, and many manufacturers, including Honda, actively recommend against the machines that do it. Here's why. A flush forces fluid through your transmission under pressure. On a higher mileage transmission that can push built-up debris into tight passages and actually cause the failure you were trying to prevent. Notice the little countertop display at the shop, the one with the clean, happy fluid in one tube next to the dark, evil-looking fluid in the other. That display was made and handed out by the company that sells the flush machine. It's a sales prop, not a diagnosis. What your Ford's manual actually calls for is a fluid change, a simple drain and fill, not a pressurized flush. The exact same logic applies to power steering flushes and engine flushes. Car Talk's mechanics put it bluntly, they've never once seen an owner's manual that lists engine flush or transmission flush as a service. If it's not in your owner's manual, you almost certainly don't need it. Secret number 3, most fuel and induction services are optional at best on a healthy engine. The dealer loves to sell fuel injection cleaning, throttle body cleaning, and intake induction service as routine preventative maintenance. Here's the truth mechanics know but don't lead with. On a modern engine that's running normally with no check engine light and no rough idle, hey, these are usually completely unnecessary. Modern fuel already carries heavy detergent that keeps injectors clean just by driving on it. Throttle body gunk up was a real thing 15 or 20 years ago, but modern air filter and intake designs largely ended it. And if you genuinely wanted the benefit anyway, a $10 to $15 bottle of a quality PEA cleaner poured in your tank does most of what a $174 dealer service does. The rule comes straight from the FTC itself, and it's dead simple. Compare every recommended service against the maintenance schedule printed in your owner's manual. If the service isn't listed there, and your truck runs fine with no warning lights, you are completely within your rights to say no. Secret number 4, do the simple stuff yourself because the markup on it is brutal. The cabin air filter is the perfect example. On most Fords, it's often a $14 part sitting right behind your glove box that takes about 5 minutes and 0 tools to swap. Dealers routinely charge $65 or more for that exact job, and the part inside is frequently the same one you'd buy yourself. Same story goes for your engine air filter, your wiper blades, and topping off your washer fluid. None of these require any real mechanical skill or special tools, and a 2-minute search of your specific Ford model and year shows you exactly how to do each one. And here's a bonus trust test built right into this. When you do pay a shop to replace a filter, ask to see the old one they took out. A dishonest shop sometimes charges you for a filter they never actually swapped, and simply asking to see the old part tells you instantly whether this is a shop you can trust with bigger jobs. Secret number 5, demand a real diagnosis before you approve a single expensive part. This is how people get talked into replacing parts that were never actually broken. A shop tells you that you need a certain sensor or a catalytic converter or a whole assembly. Before you say yes to any of it, ask them one simple question. What specific test or trouble code led you to that exact conclusion? A trustworthy shop can immediately show you the code, the live data reading, the actual measurement that points at that part. A parts cannon shop just starts swapping expensive components one at a time and hoping entirely on your dime until the problem happens to go away. This ties directly into reading your own codes with a cheap scanner first. When you walk in already knowing your truck is throwing a specific code, you simply can't be sold a random $1,000 fix for what the code says is a $50 part. And there's one specific version of this that's worth its own warning because it's the single most common upsell of all: brakes. Nobody says no when they're told their brakes are unsafe. So here's how to know for real. Brake pads are a measurable part. A new pad is around 10 to 12 millimeters of friction material. The wear indicator, that little tab that squeals, contacts around 3 millimeters. And here's the part shops count on you not knowing. Legally, a pad is only genuinely worn out when it's at or below the manufacturer's published minimum in the service manual, often around 3 millimeters. Anything above that is an opinion, not a fact. A shop that recommends new pads and rotors at 6 or 7 millimeters isn't lying exactly, but they're selling you a job you could put off for a year or more. So when you're told you need brakes, ask for the actual measurement in millimeters on each wheel. A trustworthy shop measures and shows you. Now, the honest flip side, don't ride them to nothing either, because below 2 millimeters you're grinding metal on metal, destroying your rotors and turning a $200 pad job into an $800 rotor and caliper job. The sweet spot is replacing around 3 millimeters, not at 7 because a shop wants the sale, and not at 0 because you ignored it. Before the honest limit, let me give you a bonus one that lives right where all 5 of these meet, because brakes are the most common upsell there is. Nobody says no when they're told their brakes need attention, and shops know it. 2 specific things to watch. First, replacing every caliper on an otherwise healthy truck is a classic way to double a quote, when the calipers are often fine and the hardware can be reused. Ask whether your calipers actually failed or are just being replaced by default. Second, if you run genuine Ford Motorcraft brake pads, Ford backs them with a lifetime brake pad guarantee. If they wear below 3 millimeters, the dealer replaces the pads for as long as you own the truck. Most owners have no idea that coverage exists and pay for pads that could have gotten replaced under guarantee. And one real caution the other direction. Brake fluid genuinely does have a replacement interval, often around every 3 years because it absorbs water over time. That moisture corrodes your brake components from the inside. That one is not an upsell. That one is real maintenance most people skip. Now here's the honest limit, because credibility matters more than outrage, and I don't want you walking into a shop swinging at everybody. Not every dealer is out to get you, and not every recommended service is a scam. Some of that work on the list is genuinely useful and genuinely due. A good independent mechanic you trust is worth their weight in gold, and worth paying fairly. Fluids really do need changing on schedule. Filters really do need replacing. Real problems need real repairs, done right, and cheaping out on actual maintenance is its own way to kill a truck early. The point of these 5 secrets isn't to turn you into the customer who refuses everything and does damage by neglect. It's to make you an informed customer instead of a blank check. Say a confident yes to what your manual and your actual symptoms call for. Say no or just ask more questions on everything else that shows up on that list. One more practical move that pulls all 5 together in the moment. Whenever a shop hands you a big estimate, get it in writing, itemized, with the specific reason for each line. 2 things happen when you ask for that. First, you now have a document you can take to a second shop for a free comparison quote, and second opinions on big repairs routinely come back hundreds or even thousands lower. Second, an honest shop has zero problem writing down exactly what's wrong and why, while a shop that was padding the list suddenly gets vague when they have to put it on paper. You don't have to be an expert to use this. You just have to be the customer who slows the sale down long enough to ask for the details, and that alone filters out most of the games. And here's why this all matters over the life of your truck, not just on one visit. 1 unnecessary flush, 1 overpriced filter, 1 part swapped on a guess instead of a diagnosis. Individually, each one is just annoying, a bad afternoon and a bit of wasted money. But you don't own a Ford for one afternoon. Over the years and the tens of thousands of miles you put on it, saying no to the services you don't need adds up. Saying yes only to the ones you do adds up to genuinely thousands of dollars kept in your pocket. And you get there with a truck that's actually maintained correctly, on the manufacturer's real schedule. Not one that's been over-serviced with profitable extras that never helped it. That's the whole game here. It was never about distrust, it's about knowledge. And knowledge is the one thing they can't upsell you. So, let's bring it all together. Check your VN for TSBs and warranty extensions so Ford pays for known problems. Decline the transmission and power steering flushes your manual never asked for. Skip the fuel and throttle body services on a healthy engine. Do the cheap filters yourself instead of paying the markup. And never approve an expensive part without seeing the diagnosis behind it. Do those 5 and you stop being the customer who gets handed the $1,000 list and just signs it. If this saved you from a repair bill you didn't deserve, do me a favor and subscribe.